Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Live Strong podcast. We're back again, and I'm here for part number 2 of my wedding recap video podcast chit chat situation. So, if you haven't listened to episode 1 or part 1 of this 2-part wedding chat, make sure you go back and listen to that one first because that goes over sort of like a bit of the planning of the wedding and the weekend starting and the morning of the wedding vibes. And I wrapped it up just as we were sort of about to walk down the aisle. I'm pretty sure I probably should have checked as to where I'd fully wrapped it up, but that's sort of where we're gonna kick off from. So let's not muck around and let's get straight into it, shall we? So we arrived at Greystone, like I said in the last one, and we had a bit of time in the room, blah blah blah, to get ready. And like I told you guys, it was raining. Like I was like, oh, maybe we'll just catch a little break, to walk down the aisle. But then like looking outside these beautiful big windows we had, it was like pissing down. And I was like, okay. And then I was just like laughing. Like I was not stressed. It was just like you just got to go with it. And I don't know. I wasn't stressed about the rain at all, which was really weird. I don't know. Just I was like, oh well, it's still fucking pissing down. Let's go. Let's get this show on the road. Our celebrant Loz came and spoke to us girls in the room, and when she came up, I didn't really realize, but when she got there, it was 2:30, which is the time we're meant to walk down the aisle. And she was just saying, oh, girls, how do you feel? Like, that was the first time we'd seen her that day, because obviously we were off-site. So she'd seen the boys more times than us. And she was like, well, it's pretty much go time. The boys ready, music ready. I'm just going to go do house rules, whatnot, and then we'll get this show on the actual road. And I was like, oh my God. And I feel like that whole blur, like that time in that room at Greystone was literally a blur. I feel like we were there for like 2 hours, but also 20 seconds. Like that was sort of the feeling. And I literally just still couldn't believe that I was about to walk down the wedding aisle. It was so bizarre. Anyway, so we were all pretty chill. Dad was like sitting down having a beer. He was very chill. I feel like a lot of people say that their dad gets emotional. That Johnny was just like cruising through the morning. He was just there to, make sure things were going on track and to just enjoy. I think he was just coming along for the ride. So he was having a beer. Us girls, because not everyone had left then, where before there was still the videographers there and people coming in and out. So it was nice that it was just me and the bridesmaids and John having his beer in the corner. And we took some like selfies and whatnot. We're like, piping each other up and, woo, 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 that sort of vibe. And Tracy, good old Trace, because she's with us this whole point up until now, right? And my dad was just walking me down the aisle. Trace wasn't walking me down the aisle, but she had spent the whole morning with us. So she'd gone out onto like the deck of the part of the complex. We were like on one of the houses that had a deck, and we were literally like maybe like a 40-second walk to the top of the aisle. So like we were really close to, not even that. It's literally probably 20 seconds until you're at the top of the aisle walking. So we weren't very far away from where we needed to be. But anyway, Trace was waiting out there because she was like, oh, I'll walk down in a second, to get my seat and whatnot. But the girls at Greystone were like, oh, we'll walk with you so we can hold the umbrella over your head. And Mum has a bit of a dodgy knee, and she had to walk down a few stairs. So they were just going to help her do that situation. So she was like, oh, she gave me a kiss, gave me a hug. She went out on the deck and she's just hanging there, and we're inside taking our pictures. Johnny's having his beer. And then next minute we hear everyone in the crowd like, woo, big cheers. And we're like, oh, the boys must be there. And then we hear Trace on the deck going, Nate, you look great. Or she said something like that. And I've gone, what the fuck? As if Tracy is still standing here. Like, bro, you're meant to be sitting down, as a guest, quote unquote guest, because the boys were doing like a bit of an entrance. Like, not really, but they, how sometimes when people get married, they the groom sort of floats around a little bit and has a chat to guests before the bride walks down the aisle. Well, Nath wanted to just walk down, and then I pretty much was going to walk down straight after. So he didn't really talk to anyone beforehand. They were like hidden away as well. So they walked down, and I'm like, Tracy's like, woo. I'm like, Tracy, are you still there? She's like, yeah, why? I'm like, you need to go now. And that was probably the only time I got a bit like antsy, because sometimes I can get a little bit snappy with poor Trace. She does cop it from me probably more than anyone, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate with their mum. You know, sometimes you just snap and you can't help it, and you don't want to, but it just happens. And I literally was like, Tracy! And I literally was so loud. And as soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, holy fuck. I could just imagine everyone in the ceremony going, like, and being able to just hear me there. But apparently they couldn't hear me, because I did ask people afterwards, because I was like, oh my God. Because then a beautiful acoustic musician, Sophie, started playing our song for the girls to walk down the aisle. And the bitch, Trace, still on the deck. I'm like, oh my God. And then so she's starting to stress out, because I think she was a bit confused when she was meant to go and all this sort of stuff. So then she just starts walking out in the rain. No umbrella. And it's not just sprinkling, guys. It's like pouring. And we're like, Tracy, come back. And then she's coming back up the stairs out of the rain. And then the girls come up and they're like, oh, Trace, you're still here. Like, I think they might have like sort of misunderstood when she was meant to go, and also forgot that she was there, which is fine. Like, because the girls the team at Greystone obviously had to also walk the boys down the aisle. Like, they held the umbrellas for them. So they were like doing lots of jobs. Anyway, so long point at the beginning of the ceremony that Tracy walked down to the music of what the girls are walking down the aisle to. So she walked down, she's like, oh, hi everyone. So she had her moment. Anyway, that was hilarious. That was like probably the biggest thing that went like wrong, let's call, for the wedding, but it also was like really like one of the funniest things of the day that she actually did that. And then obviously Sophie, our acoustic girl, who was amazing, she probably realized like, this is not the bridesmaids, this is Tracy. So she then restarted the song again, and then the girls started walking down. They held an umbrella. All the bridesmaids held an umbrella in one hand, they held their bouquet in the other hand, until they got to the end of the aisle, and they like threw their brollies into the bush, essentially, because that's what the guys told us to do there. They were like, walk, you were meant to walk to like the bend, so that no one really actually saw you until the bend, and then you probably had like 3 meters to the aisle. So then you would walk 3 meters in rain until the aisle. And they recommended that because then people, your photos, you don't have the brolly in it and stuff like that. But like I said, it was pissing down. So I just said, before we went down, we were just like, just walk it all the way to the aisle. Like, who cares if the brolly's in a few pictures? We'd rather not be wet. So they had it. And there's all these funny videos, and everyone was like literally laughing out loud at the girls throwing their brollies before they walked down the aisle, because Britt was first. And if you can't see me, you have to listen to my voice, but I'm going to do a visual for those watching. Like, she's walked down and she's like looked around at the end, and I'm like, well, where the fuck am I going to throw this brolly? And just like really like dramatically, I'm like, boom, over the shoulder, and everyone's like pissing themselves. But then you get to walk down the aisle, and then we didn't need an umbrella to walk down the aisle because we were getting married undercover. It was literally just getting to the aisle. So the girls walked down, they walked down to Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and I decided to do that song, I guess in honor or in memory or in thought of my beautiful Nan Jackie, who I've talked about before on the podcast and will talk about forever. She was one of the most beautiful ladies in my life, and I was very, very, very close to her. So it was actually one of the only times I nearly started crying on the day was putting her little picture that I had on my bouquet. And again, none of the girls could put the picture on the bouquet. They were like trying so hard. And then I just did it straight away. Like one of those weird things, you're like, I was meant to do this. But anyway, we call her our rainbow lady. So it was just sort of like a little inside thing with me, my mum and my sister, to sort of have a little moment for her. So the girls walked down to Somewhere Over a Rainbow. Also, like as a random tie into that story, when I was really, really little, I did a tap dance to Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and my Nan Jackie, who was unable to attend because of, she fully hand sewed a full leotard, arm sleeves, cape thing in rainbow sequins. Like, so she'd do like 2 rows of blue, 2 rows of green, and like It honestly, we still have it to this day. It lived in our house. It was literally a work of art. So it's all of these weird things that, like, it was a really nice thing for everyone to walk down the aisle to that. Girls all went down, that was all fine, and then it was my time to shine, yay. And I was walking down to 1,000 Years, the song from Twilight. Picking my aisle song, guys, was honestly probably the hardest thing. For a few things. I feel like you're meant to be like connected to your song. Didn't really feel connected to any songs. I wanted people to be like emotional, so I wanted it to be like everyone's go, oh, that feeling. So I was trying to create that feeling. But yeah, like I said, I didn't really feel attached to any song. But when I did watch when I watched Twilight the first time, when this song plays in the credits, and I still remember sitting in the movie theater and being emotional about this song, and every time it comes on, I always think it's just such a beautiful song. So that was sort of why I ended up picking it. There really was no like deep-hearted root behind it, but we had this beautiful part in the song where I was going to appear out of nowhere, and that part was, if I just sing it in my head, can't remember. Anyway, somewhere around the chorus. That's when I was going to come out. So we sort of had to plan when I'd start walking before I go out. But like, guys, I was walking in torrential rain, so obviously we were a bit off track here. So I literally didn't end up, we walked at the time, we thought we were ready to go, blah, blah, blah. I didn't actually visibly get seen by everyone until like the second verse. I was so late. Again, it's just one of those things. It was sort of funny. But me and Dad chucked our brolly at that corner, like I said before. So we had those 2 or 3 meters to walk in the rain. Just so, yeah, we sort of had that moment. We come around the corner and everyone saw me, whatever. Walked down. I didn't get very wet, but I did get this very big droplet right on the tip of my nose. And I literally felt it. And I was like, fuck. Like, I could just imagine my foundation spreading away. So when we got in under the cover, I said, Dad, I've just got to wipe my nose. And I just stopped, wiped my nose, head up, and then off we went. Did not cry. I didn't cry at all, but Nathan was an actual blubbery mess, and he was the whole ceremony, and no one gave him a tissue, so he was just sniffling around everywhere. It's a bit sniffle, but that was fine, and it was really beautiful. So I think I didn't cry because, like, your emotions are so high. Like, when I see other people walk down the aisle, I get emotional because you're feeling their emotions, but for me, my emotions were already so heightened that I was like, oh my God, that's like sort of my feeling. So walked down the aisle, it was really beautiful, really nice with Dad. One thing me and Nath both spoke about before the wedding was that we wanted to me and him be connected in the ceremony, because I see a lot of people when they get married, they might hold one hand and then they open themselves up to their guests, and they're sort of not looking at each other. And so we held 2 hands, faced each other, eyes locked the whole time, and we literally were having conversations. We were like, I can't really remember what we were talking about. I was like, you look nice, and he was like, you look nice, and he's like, why were you so late? And I was like, I was waiting on you, and he's like, I was like, this is us having like a full conversation at the front of our aisle. So our videographers actually had Nathan mic'd up, so they're really going to get all of that content of us having random ass chats. But yeah, we're literally talking, and as Loz, our celebrant who wrote this beautiful story about like our love and everything, as she was talking about it, we were like talking to each other about points that would come up and stuff. So our ceremony was beautiful, but I do remember taking this really distinct moment, which again, I thought about before I walked down the aisle, of looking around at everyone sitting there. So like, I don't remember when I did it, but like I literally turned my head and I sort of like tried to like look at normal, almost like everyone in the eyes, like, but not really. You can't look everyone in the eyes, but like really scan everyone sitting there. And I still can very, very clearly visualize that in my mind. The thought of looking around, like I can still see in my head where everyone was sitting. And I think that's because I took that, it literally was a moment where I was like, wow, we're getting married. Like these are all the people here with us. Like, this is so amazing. One thing we did in our ceremony, our bridal party actually sat down. So they came up the front. Loz just did a little description, a little like start of the ceremony, and then our bridal party sat down. So they actually could see us. My parents sat and my bridesmaids sat on the opposite side to me, so I could see them in the eyeballs. They weren't like behind my head, they were in front of my eyes. And same with Nath, which was also nice because I could sort of keep looking over to them, giving them a little smile. You know, the people you want to be looking at, we were looking at, sort of thing. So we did that. We wrote our own vows, which were beautiful. Like, they were both beautiful. Like, talking about myself here as well, but they were so nice. Like, Nath writes and speaks so well. So, like, I was not surprised that his were so lovely. Again, I didn't cry, which he did, but I just like, again, my emotions were heightened, and he went first as well, which I think also caused me not to cry as much, because I was sort of thinking about when he was speaking, and he was speaking so well. I don't think he stuttered once. He was like speaking, he was having a bit of a tear, like they were beautiful, like they were honestly the most amazing words. And I was thinking, fuck, I've got to say mine after this. Like, that was sort of running in my head. But again, I also think I spoke very well, and I tried to be quite slow and clear, but I also like did a bit of stumbling, because you all know I do a bit of stumbling. I got a few laughs. My vows started with, to my love, my best friend, to my sweetie, because sometimes I go, sweetie, like, and everyone laughed. And I was like, guys, this isn't even one of my jokes, but that was really funny. So anyway, that was the ceremony. Husband and wife, slay. We walked up the aisle. We did our, like, everyone threw their confetti, which actually worked really well. Our photos turned out really well from that as well. So that was cute. Did our dip kiss at the end, which me and Nathan were so bad at practicing all these things. You see all this stuff on TikTok, and people are like, oh yeah, don't forget to start practicing your kiss out like 6 months in advance in your first dance. We literally started practicing more like the week of the wedding. We're like, okay, well, how does one do this dip kiss? And like, we were struggling. He kept wanting to drop me on the ground. So, but we smashed it. The dip kiss was a slay. I did the bouquet around. We went down. And then I get up from the dip kiss, right? I look in front of me. Again, I'm at the end of the aisle. No fucking word of a lie. The sun was out. The sun was out. This is the most bizarre thing. And, you know, people who weren't there or maybe didn't care that much about the weather that day, like, probably didn't really understand. But, like, guys, the forecast of that day was like 120 mils, which is a lot of rain. The forecast was rain all day. Like I said, there was the chance of a thunderstorm at 2 p.m. when our ceremony was. And I get to the end of the aisle. I turn back at everyone. I'm like, the sun's out. Like, and one of the videos is me sort of saying that. You can sort of see my mouth open saying something. And I was like, I literally was like speechless. It was the most insane thing. So we then walked out of the ceremony and didn't even need an umbrella. Like, we walked down and just walked out into the wilderness. And yes, of course, like, the path was still wet and stuff like that. But like, who gives a fuck if the path's wet? Like, I wasn't getting rained on. So that was so magical. And guys, it did not rain the rest of the day, even into the night. Like, in the night, they have like an outdoor seating area you can sit at. People were sitting out there like the whole night. Like, literally did not rain again. So everyone who was, and I know that everyone who was in Newcastle, like all the guys from the gym and that, everyone was like, oh, the rain. I was like, you don't even understand. Like, the rain did not even like affect my day at all, because it was just the most bizarre thing. And like I said, walking down the aisle, we needed that umbrella to get to the top of the aisle, and then I didn't even need it to walk down the aisle. So like, it's so hilarious. But anyway, I'm speaking too much, guys. I've nearly been going for 20 minutes. Okay, I'm going to go faster now. Ceremony done, no rain, slay. We actually had this plan to straight away walk away to like near where this pond is, which isn't all of our shit's really close, but like away from where the cocktail hour was going to be. And we were going to sign our wedding certificate there. So we didn't do it in our ceremony. And our immediate family, so our parents, our two sisters, like I have a sister and Nathan has a sister, and they both have partners. The 8 of, how many is that, 10 of us or whatever, we all went to this certain area to do our signing, because our sisters were being our proof of getting married or whatever it is, our witnesses. So they were our witnesses. Actually, can we just pause here for a second? Let's just go back to the ceremony. One other thing that we did, which was really nice, and our celebrant recommended this, was our mum both our mums gave us our wedding rings. So when it was time to get married, both our mums stood up. Jenny gave me Nathan's and mum gave Nathan my ring. So we sort of had that moment with our mums in the ceremony. We gave them a hug, a kiss, and took the ring. So those who maybe listen to this who are thinking about their wedding, that was something fun that we did. And they the celebrant recommended that you could also get, you know, maybe two friends that you like, you know, or like someone who maybe isn't part of your bridal party who, you know, you wanted to show an importance in the day. So yeah, we got our mums to do it, which was a special time, and they both loved that, and they both found that really special as well. So that was another way to, you know, make a special moment. Anyway, sisters were signing. We all went down there and we got our family photos straight away down near this pond. So that meant we could just smash them out straight away. Meanwhile, everyone else was up the top at cocktail hour. It went straight into cocktail hour in that area. We did that. From there, me and Nath went away for, I reckon, about 20 minutes to do some solo photos. Again, we were originally weren't going to do that many then, but our photo team, they were like, guys, it's not raining right now. The sun's actually out. Like, there's literally blue sky we can see. We don't know how long we're going to have this for. Let's go get some photos. You know, obviously in hindsight, it didn't rain again, but we didn't know that at that point because the forecast was so bad. So we went and did some photos, and we had cocktails with us. Our photo team literally were playing bangers. They had like a JBL speaker. We were vibing, and it was actually really nice because it meant that me and Nathan had alone time straight after the ceremony. So we didn't go and mingle with everyone straight away. We had that moment with our families, which was nice. We could give them all a hug and a kiss, and we're very close to, you know, that 10 of us are very close. So that was really nice. Then we had our moment away, and while we were away, one of the head girls at Greystone, the wedding venue, came up and she was like, guys, do you want me to like move the champagne tower outside and I can move all the cocktail furniture back out and stuff like that? Because we'd obviously moved our champagne tower to go inside, and we'd planned on doing some of our speeches in the reception that originally were planned for cocktail hour because of the weather. Like, it was so rainy. We're like, we're just going to have to make a few changes. But they're like, let's literally just go back to the original plan that you had planned months in advance. And at first I was like, oh, I feel bad. Like, you know, a champagne tower, like all the bloody glasses and everything. I was like, do you care moving it? She's like, no, let me do it. I'm like, oh, are you sure? And Nathan's like, just do it. So God bless. They literally moved our champagne tower outside, big sleigh. We then rejoined cocktail hour. We sort of said hi to everyone. I ended up saying hi and giving everyone a hug. So that was really great. We went and did our champagne tower thingy bubble there, which was fun. Our bridal party sort of got involved. It was just a little moment. And because we sort of just drifted our way into the cocktail hour, it was a nice way for everyone to sort of know we were there. And then also in the cocktail hour, our best man and maid of honor made their speeches, as well as Nathan and I. So my sister and Nath's best man, Geordie, that's who our two people were. Em's speech was beautiful. She's not the best public speaker. Like, that's not her favorite activity to do. So I really appreciated her talking because, like, she literally hates that. And it was beautiful. And also, I nearly did cry there. That was close to tears because I knew how hard that was for her. Nath's best man, Geordie, who's like our trio member, his speech was very Geordie. So it was very short, sweet. Everyone was having a bit of a laugh. There wasn't much thought behind it, but like, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't amazing. It was just, everyone was laughing because they're like, this is very Geordie. So that was fine. It was very like casual because everyone there knew everyone nearly. So that was great. And then me and Nathan had our speech then, and maybe controversial, we didn't write our wedding speech. We just wung it. And in hindsight, such a slay. Like, I also remember that being a highlight of my day is our wedding speech, because we were still on such a high. We'd pretty much, all those events happened really fast. I felt like we got the photos, we came back, champagne tower, and then the speeches were sort of happening straight away. And yeah, we talked about it when we started to write it, and then we just thought, can we just make this up as we go? And like a few things we just wanted to sort of thank everyone for being there, and sort of, we wanted everyone to know that whoever was there were people who meant the most to us, because it was only a small wedding, and you know, we didn't have much family there. It was a lot of our friends who are like our family. And then we wanted to just sort of say how important our immediate family is to us in our bridal party. And that was sort of it. Like, we didn't need to rave on about our love for each other. We literally just had these like 5 minute long vows to each other earlier. And like, yeah, it was more like a fun speech, and everyone was having a bit of a laugh. So that was really good. And then the rest of the cocktail hour, we literally spent with everyone. So we were only away from the cocktail hour for, let's say, 20 minutes, and the cocktail hour went for 2 hours. So we were there for an hour, 40 minutes with everyone. So chill. We got photos with different people. Photographer was there, so we got like cruisy photos. We got photos with Nate's grandparents. Because I actually didn't have any grandparents there at my wedding. So we got them with Nate's grandparents and stuff, and a few friends and a few with the bridal party, and like that sort of all was just happening at cocktail hour. Very, very cruisy. And we also had at cocktail hour wedding chats, and if you haven't heard about that, it's like it's a business or a company, and it's usually a man who runs it, but he has people who do it for him as well if he can't do it or for some reason. And Loz, our celebrant, actually works for wedding chats as well. So she actually did our wedding chats, which was super convenient because she obviously was already there. And she pretty much interviews our guests about if they ask them a few questions. It gets videoed, they get marked up, and they sort of just get to talk about us and maybe memories and say some things. So we recommended people that we wanted, which was like our family and our bridal party and their partners. They're people who we wanted to go on to the wedding chats, and then it was just whoever she got. So that was an activity that was happening during cocktail hour, as well as obviously the champagne tower, the speeches, and then canapes and drinks. So it did fly by, sort of. I feel like I said, we talked to everyone. I gave everyone a hug. We sort of made our way around. But we also had fun in it. Like, I was having laughs and, I was on a high. Then it was time to go in for reception. We had a made up dance routine that our bridal party had made up. So we had a bit of a entrance happening. So everyone went back in and our bridal party got ready to do that. And we were sort of just having a practice. Everyone went in. We were having a practice, having a drink. I don't even think we got any more photos then. Originally we were going to get photos then, but we'd already sort of got a few already. And me and Nath, we love our bridal party, and obviously, we had already got one-on-one photos with our bridal party, and I'd got photos with the girls and stuff. So we'd already made the effort to make sure that we had captured those special people on the day. So we only needed a few big group photos. We weren't really fussed on getting like heaps of bridal party photos with with everyone when they do heaps of different options, because we just didn't feel like we needed that many. So we didn't need to spend that much time on it. I reckon we're probably outside for like 15 minutes, just the bridal party, having a laugh, having a drink, having a little practice of our dance. Me and Nath practiced our first dance before we entered. So when we entered, we had sparkler things that went off. Sam Harden, who some of you out there might know, one of our really good friends, and a lot of people out there probably know him from the gym, but I've known Sam since I think I was like 8 or something, because his sister and my sister are best friends, and our families have become best friends. So it was really special to have Sam as our MC there as well, because Sam's obviously became we became even closer friends as we've become adults, but also he's become really good friends with Nathan as well. So it was special to have him. So he introduced himself to everyone. We did like the spinning napkin things, and you could hear everyone yahooing, and like I said, we had a practice routine. And what was the song? These words are my own. That song, but like the new remix version of it. So that was our entrance song. But we had practiced it from entering from when the song starts. And our DJ, who was actually elite, like the DJ was a highlight of our wedding. But he sort of like started mixing it straight away, which was fine, but it meant that we had no idea when we were going to enter. So like everyone was sort of like going, and we're like, okay, when are we going to go in, guys? But it ended up being perfect. So they went in, the bridal party, they did their dance, and then when me and Nath came in, the sparklers went off. We just sort of jumped in, did a little kissy poodle, and then the song changed, And we had about 10 minutes of dance floor time, and it was pre-organized. I'd sent the DJ the songs. And like I said, our DJ was literally elite. So we weren't just listening to songs outright. We were literally, it was like we were in the club and you had like a sick DJ on, put in some sick mixes, some big drops. Like it was a huge vibe. And when the song changed, we got everyone up off their seats onto the dance floor, and we just danced around for like 10 minutes just to bring some energy into the room. Which was super fun. And everyone got up, everyone danced. We were just laughing and having fun. Then we sat down, we started entrees. And then after entrees, me and Nate went out for sunset photos. Again, it hadn't been raining, so we could go out for sunset photos, which was really fun and really magical. Our again, video team amazing. So we took out some drinks, the music playing, and I had all these like really, like I think they obviously probably do it on purpose, but in the moment I hadn't really thought about it. But they were all like romantic, really beautiful songs. And I was like, as I look back on the little short videos that we've got, which are real time sounds, so not music over the video, there's just some like, I'm like, wow, this was just such a moment. So we went out and we got some more photos together, some sunset photos, which was a slay. We came back in and we had dinner was served. So we ate dinner, which was all of our food was absolutely 10 out of 10 delicious. Then while we were sort of finishing dinner, the dads did their speeches. We were sort of a bit off time at this point, just wait, it's a wedding, things run off schedule. So we sort of made the dads sort of like do it mid-dinner, but oh well, they survived. The dad's speeches were great. My dad had written his, and he, again, not the best public speaker, so he was quite nervous, and he wrote it out, and it was really beautiful. Nate's dad is a bit of a better talker, so he didn't have a written speech, and he sort of just spoke from the heart. So we sort of had the best of both worlds. We had like someone who wasn't as confident, someone who was more confident speaking, but they both didn't ramble, which was the main thing, because we all know that dad's speeches at weddings can be the thing that goes forever. But they both were good, and our mum stood up there with them. The four of them all stood up there together, so that was actually quite cute. Them then they had a little podium in the middle of the floor, spotlight on it was actually really romantic, and their speeches were beautiful. So then that happened, dinner happened, speeches happened, and then me and Nate did our first dance, and we did it to Lover by Taylor Swift, because obviously we all know I love Taylor Swift. And again, it was choreographed, but before we went out, I was like, shit, Nate, I think I've had one too many glasses of champagne and I have forgotten the dance. So I was like, okay, let's have some water, let's go outside and let's practice again. And we literally both went outside, looked at each other, and we're like, how does it start? Oh, it was so funny. And we made up this dance just off like Instagram reels we'd seen of first dances, and we sort of just like, wow, that looks good, we'll just do that. So we didn't have anyone teach us to dance. We didn't go to dance class. We were just like winging it, really. But again, we were quite chill about the whole thing. Anyway, it was really beautiful. Our first dance was actually a sleigh. We smashed it out of the park, and we just laughed through it, talked through it. We had a little lift in there. Like, we did all of the things. And we had probably I think it was about 45 seconds of first dance to Lover. And then I went and got my dad, and Nath went and got his mum, and we danced together for about 45 seconds. So that was like my daddy-daughter dance. My dad wasn't super fussed on doing a daddy-daughter dance. I think he would have been happy to do it. But again, I also wasn't fussed on spending a whole 3 minutes just dancing with my dad, as well as dancing with Nathan. Like, we didn't do a full first dance song. We just did 45 seconds, just me and Nath. Then we did about 45 seconds, Nath with his mum, me with my dad. And then after that, for the last, probably 45 seconds again of the song, I went back to Nath. My dad grabbed my mum. Nath's mum grabbed his dad. And our bridal party sort of knew to join in then. So everyone could sort of have a lovely little dance for the last little bit of that song. So everyone's in their feels for 45 seconds. And then we had cued that we knew the next song we wanted to play was Adore You by Fred again. Because it's still a cute song, but it's also upbeat. So the next minute, the dance floor was open and we were boogieing away. But little did everyone know that not long after that, me and Nathan snuck out, little sneaky devils, because we had an outfit change. So my second dress was a sleigh. It was the biggest sleigh of my life. It was Bound Bridal, who is designed by this lovely girl named Brooke, who is from Adamstown in Newcastle. So we worked together. She launched her range of dresses not too long before I started working with her. But we made a few different changes. I changed like the back, how we were going to like lace the back. I ended up putting like an extra coat of like bling over the top. We changed the pearls on the arms. So I sort of personalized the dresses that she was already selling or she was already making because they're all custom made. And Nath changed into this beautiful black velvet jacket, which he absolutely loved as well. We both loved our second looks. So we went and got changed. We got some nighttime photos in our changed looks, which was super cute. They're like super hot, like big vibes. And then we re-entered again because, you know, you can only have so many entrances into your own wedding, can't you? So we re-entered again, fireworks up again. And this time we came into a Screamo song. Yes, correct. Bring Me Horizon, Die For You. That's what it's called. Because as anyone who knows Nate, he's a big Screamo guy, a bit of a, you know, hard hitter with the music. So the poor Dull needed to have something that he wanted on the day. So this is what we had. And to be honest, I also like Bring Me Horizon. We went and saw them live last year together. So it was like a nice little thing. We came in. It was like such a vibe. Everyone before we came in was inside. I think Sam cued this. They're going, slay, 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 slay. Which is so funny. And yeah, we entered. Fireworks went off. We had a little kissy moment. And then we went straight to cut our cake. While everyone was sort of standing around the dance floor, we cut the cake and then the song changed into Wonderwall, but the Bring Me the Horizons version. So everyone knows Wonderwall, the song, but like imagine it's Screamo. That's what we then played. So we cut the cake to that and then it was just like a bit of a woo and everyone danced, rejoined the dance floor. And then that's pretty much where the party kicked off, guys. From there, the DJ played banger after banger after banger. And me and Nath, I don't know, probably controversial. We just wanted to listen to music that we liked. We didn't want to listen to traditional wedding music. We didn't want to listen to, I don't know, the stuff that you hear in every bloody wedding playlist. And there's nothing wrong with that. People love those songs. But we wanted to pretend like we were literally in a club. Like we wanted to listen to, we were in the best club in Sydney. The best DJ had rocked up and we are not leaving the dance floor. Like that was the vibe we wanted and that was literally what we got. Even when we were having dinner, like we were sitting down eating dinner, he was playing bangers. I literally had my knife and fork up in the sky like, woo, woo, woo. And I was saying, Olivia, you need to honestly calm the fuck down. But like, it was just banger after banger after banger all night. So no joke, I actually think me and Nathan danced for like 2 hours straight without leaving the dance floor. And majority of the wedding did as well. Like people obviously come and leave the dance floor. You can't bloody dance 2 hours straight. But yes, guys. So we danced. And then we had another cocktail hour, which was espresso martinis and margaritas that came out at like 9 p.m. or something, which was a slay. And then, no joke, at about 9 p.m., so many of our friends who were staying on site went and got changed into their pajamas. Like, not full pajamas, but like they went into like comfy, like the boys were like comfy shorts and then just had their button up shirt on and like their slides. Everyone had like comfy shoes on and everyone just danced, like full dance the whole time. And there was a few people hanging around like outside and stuff as well. Obviously not every single person was dancing, but a lot were. So that was, our dance floor was literally one of the highlights of our wedding because it was a slay. Our DJ was Sam from Silent Shout. So anyone who's getting married and obviously wants to spend money on their DJ, because he wasn't cheap, but could not recommend him enough. It was such a slay. And then we didn't request a final song because I just wanted him to just do whatever he felt. You know, he's the DJ man, and like I said, he nailed it, all of them, and we'd put in a list of all the music we wanted to listen to. But he finished it off like with Lord Greenlight. And no joke, it was like iconic. Like everyone was going off. There was green lights because he had lighting everywhere in the room. The room was like green, and I fucking love Lord. I've seen Lord twice now. I've seen Lord live with Nath. Like it was like he must have been in my mind that I was like, this is what needed to be the final song. And then after we finished, the wedding was done at 10. I think just after 10:30. But we had already pre-set up in this games room. And so up in this great games room area, we had already set up like alcohol up there. We had air fryers up there with frozen food. So everyone who was staying on site could go up into this room, and we were going to sort of hang out there as like an after party vibe. We ended up with a few stragglers up there, so a few of our friends who were staying close by ended up coming up for a bit longer, which was nice. We had like a full room. Again, this was another special moment of the day where I sort of looked around. There was everyone playing like pool, air hockey, darts, like everyone was doing fun things, having chats, like eating, drinking. I was like, wow, we have the best people around us, and today's been the best day of my life. Like, it was the most iconic moment up there. And no joke, a group of us were up to like 4 a.m. We did not go to sleep. We drank, we chatted, we laughed. I made TikToks with the girls. Nathan, one of the boys, went swimming in the pool at like 3 a.m. So we literally just like finished the night off up there. Like the most perfect day. Guys, my wedding was the most perfect day. Hopefully this video has sort of depicted that to you, but nothing went wrong. Like, yes, it rained, but like I said, that wasn't an issue. Like, we were going to deal with whatever happened, and then it didn't bloody rain. Like, everything was, all of our vendors, amazing. I could not rate them any highly. Everyone, our florist, she was spectacular. Our video team, like our videographer, photographer, and content creator, that's our video team, amazing. The venue, amazing. Food, amazing. Like everything, our celebrant was amazing. Like everything just was tip top. And yeah, me and Nate spent pretty much, I'd say like 80% of the day fully together, which was also really nice. And it wasn't something we were trying to do, but it just sort of ended up that way, that we were sort of always hanging together, which made it really nice. There was lots of laughs, a lot of silly moments. Like it was just very us. Our wedding was us. So I can't wait till we get our wedding video and share that with you all, because I think that will also really show on what a magical day it was. But hopefully this has sort of given you an insight on what our wedding was like. I will definitely come back with another wedding podcast before I stop talking about the wedding. I'll probably talk about it forever, let's be honest. But I guess this is sort of a bit of a description of what a slay it was of a day. The slayest of the days. And yeah, I just want to do it again. I want to do it again without having to pay for it or without having to organize it, you know? Like, I just want it to happen. But yeah, fuck, it was good. And now I'm married, Mrs. Tantevsky. Still need to legally change my name because I haven't done that yet, but I will do it soon. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it here because I've raved on. My phone's ran out of storage like 40 times doing this, so I bet this goes for long enough. Peace out, Girl Scout. Make sure you watch version 1, version 2, and watch next week's episode as well.